Hey, y'all. It's Mariesa here, and welcome back to Writing Wednesday. So, for last time, I shared why I write. We did session number two. I talked about why I write. I gave personal testimony. If you have not watched that, you can go back and watch that before we get started with session three, where to start writing. I'm actually going to walk you through how to start, where to start, etc. Because I know some of you are watching, you may want to write, but you feel stuck at square one. And if you're not in that position, if you've already written, then just let this session refresh you. I'm excited to get started because I know some of you need to be writing and you don't know where to start. So I am here to help. So let's start here. Let's first begin with why people struggle to start. And this is, again, not an exhaustive list. This is just some of the reasons why people start. It's not all of them. These are some that I've struggled with, these are some that I've heard. People who have written books, people who write have struggled with. These are ones that I'm familiar with. So, firstly, they say, I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer. But what I say to that is everyone is a writer. It may not be for publishing books or authoring books, but again, as I said before, in the last two sessions, you can journal. Journaling is a form of writing. Writing prayers to the Lord is a form of writing. There are so many different forms of writing. So, yes, you are a writer. Some people write music, some people free write, some people do creative writing. So, yes, you are a writer. Another reason why people struggle to start is I don't know what to say. Well, if you don't know what to say and God's given you a book or He's giving you something to write, or you think that journaling will be therapeutic and help you, then it's okay that you don't know what to say at first. You can just start. You just need to start. And then things may start flowing, or maybe you need to get some inspiration from somewhere. Maybe you just need to think about some things that you've gone through, or maybe you can ask the Lord for inspiration. Or one of the big things that I like is to read. Just read a book, read um, something inspirational, read poetry, read the Bible. You can write your thoughts on what you've read in the Bible, how it spoke to you. You can write about the attributes of God. You have so much to say, but maybe you just don't realize it yet. Maybe you haven't tapped into your voice or what that should look like, or maybe you are comparing how you would write to how someone else writes. And again, one of the things that I want to do during these sessions is to crush comparison. Your story is unique. How you tell it is unique. What you've gone through is unique. I like to say that your fingerprint, if you look at your thumb or you look at one of your fingers, we won't be able to tell just by looking at it from just the blind eye, or from your ordinary eye. But if you put your fingerprint or your finger under a microscope and you compare it, or experts compare fingerprints, none of them are the same. So the story that you tell and how you tell it and how you do it may be just unique to you. And that's okay. Like, God made us all different for different reasons. So you don't need to look like anybody else. Your book doesn't need to look like anyone else's. How they did it, maybe you can glean from it, but it's unique to you, is what I'm saying. So you do know what to say. Again, maybe you just haven't tapped into it again, or maybe you're looking around at people around you and you want your book or your journal or your piece to look like theirs, and it won't. And no one is inferior to anyone else in this. Okay, so you have to get that in your mind. You have to let that not be something that stops you from writing. You know what to say. It won't be perfect. This is another. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of all that. We want to be perfect. I struggle. I have in the past struggled with perfection. I've allowed it to paralyze me to the point where I won't move forward. And if you're in that boat, I just want to speak to you now. No one is perfect. No one's writing is perfect. No one will ever be perfect, neither will their writing. So don't let that stop you. I have read books that have gone through big name publishers, and there's still an error or so in it. There's things that I see that's an error. So it's not perfect, and it's okay. You cannot let that stop you, because nothing you do, no one will ever be. Perfect. Okay, so we can just throw that out of the window now. What about I'm no expert? That's another one where people are like, I'm not an expert, but you went through something. You've had an experience. What do you mean you're not an expert? You went through it. Do you mean you don't have like a degree in that thing you went through, or maybe you're having trouble giving language to it? But if you have an experience or you've gone through something, then you may be an expert on it. Do you mean you don't study it? Or sometimes that has layers to it, and I really don't know, I don't say how to explain it, but no, no one can take away from you your experience. And no one can take away from you the things that you've gone through and the testimony that you've been blessed with because you got on the other side of the thing that you've gone through. You have a story, and no one is an expert on your story like you are. So the last one is would, oh, I have a typo. Excuse that. I'm not going to correct it because this is a perfect thing for me to say it's not perfect. So this here presentation is not perfect, but it should say, would anyone even want to read my writing? And I completely jacked that up, and it's okay. And I'm letting it go. Why? Because I'm telling you what it should say. Would anyone even read my writing? Yes, for the person that is assigned to it or someone that is supposed to read what you write, they'll write it. Now, we know that we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. We know that not everyone will love our writings, but it's okay because it's for someone. We get it. We're not assigned to everyone. Everyone will not like us. Everyone will not like what we do for various reasons. But yes, someone will read your writing, and it may have more of an impact than you think it will have. You would be surprised what your obedience is linked to. You would be surprised at how many people actually need what you can give them, what you can write. So I just want to throw these out of the window. And as you see on here, there are a few things that are highlighted. We see I'm and I and I'm and my. These are all things that have to do with you. But when you write, you're not necessarily writing for you. And as I said before, yes, journaling is therapeutic and it can help you and all of those wonderful things. But when you are writing, if you are publishing a book or you are writing for someone else to see, it's not about you. So these I's and these I's and my, and it's you're thinking about yourself. Are you being selfish with your writing? Just asking. It's for someone else. Someone else needs it. So I just want to encourage you in there. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have a book deal. You don't have to have a huge platform to write. You just need a why. You need a willing heart and you need a place to start. You don't have to write a book. Just write a sentence. So let's give some practical tips where to start. Let's go there. Start small. We're not asking you to write a book today. I'm not saying go and write that thesis paper right now today. Get it done. No, just start small. You'll be surprised at what baby steps will do if you plug away a little bit at a time. So don't try to write your life story in one sitting. Start with a moment. Start with a memory, start with a feeling. For example, I feel heavy today, but I'm not sure why. That's a beginning. That right there is a beginning. There are so many times that I've journaled and I'm like, I don't know why I feel like this, but I was just down today. I didn't feel like myself. It could be that this happened, or it could be that I'm not looking forward to this. So start small. The second tip is to pick a time and space. I know that this may not look the same every single day because of the ebbs and flows of life, but just choose a consistent window of time, even if it's just for like 10 minutes per day. Find a quiet space. If you're into candles, light a candle or put on some soft music, whatever sets the tone for you. Mine, I love worship music. I love to put on worship music and just play it in the background. And sometimes I can't even write because I start worshiping. But yeah, just pick a time and a space and you will be able to just plug away at it. It may look different. Some days you may not be able to get into that space at that time, and that's okay. Just make sure that you're plugging away little by little because no one can do it for you. No one can write the journal entry for you. No one can write the piece for you. No one can write the magazine for you, the book for you. You have to do it. So if you're going to be dedicated, you have to be consistent and make sure that you are writing little bits at a time if you have to. Just keep going, is my whole point. The third practical tip is to use prompts or categories. I love prompts and categories. I love to be asked questions about writing because that prompts me to talk about it. So, write about a memory, write about something God taught you this week, write about a fear, a dream, a prayer, or write your thoughts to God like a letter. And I know we talked about that before. So just write, use again prompts or categories. Then the next one is let go of perfection, as we talked about before. This is not a grammar test. You're not writing for people, you're writing for purpose. So right now, you're just writing for purpose. You may be writing for people, but you'll have editors and things of that nature that will help you get through that. So don't worry about getting it all edited and polished right now. Just write for purpose. Spelling does not disqualify you. And authenticity is what matters. So don't worry about, oh, I spelled this wrong, or, I had an issue a while back, and sometimes this issue will still try to creep in when I'm writing, that I go back and delete and then, start this part over or whatever. Let me make it a little bit more plain. So if I'm writing a sentence and I go back and I read it instead of just continuing to write, it slows me down because I'm trying to polish it while I go. And that's not going to work, because it takes you all the more time to get finished with that than if you would just go ahead and write and don't worry about grammar, don't worry about spelling. You can go back and correct those things. Again, you may have an editor if you write a book and things of that nature. So the last one is have tools nearby. You can grab your favorite pen or your Bible, maybe even a devotional or a phone for scripture references. You can make writing a sacred rhythm, not a chore. When it feels like a duty, like, oh, I gotta get this done, and you're dragging and you're not even feeling like it, then what's your writing gonna be like? It's probably going to reflect that. So make it a sacred rhythm. Like, go into that space, go into your writing zone. And sometimes it's easier to get into that zone than in other times. But when you get in it, capitalize on it. Drive that thing all the way until you can't drive it anymore if you have the time and the space. So these are just some practical tools. And I like to say, have a pen and paper nearby, because again, if God's given you a book, if there's a book in your belly that He's giving you, then you are going to want to make sure that you have a notebook, a note card, a something nearby you, because what'll happen is He'll begin to speak to you when you start walking in obedience and you start walking in the writing space. What will happen is He will download things into you at times when you probably least expect it. So if you ask Him, Lord, speak to me, give me exactly what you want me to put in this book, if that is your avenue for writing, give me exactly what it is that the people need with this topic that you've given me, with this chapter title that you've given me. If you do that, then you need to be prepared. One of the ways that I like to do it is to use the Notes app on my phone. I'm always like, oh, if I'm in Bible study and I'm hearing the Lord speaking, yes, about the topic that we're studying, but it may be something concerning that He wants me to write about in my book, and I'm hearing it. It's not what the pastor said or the minister said, but it's something that they said triggered something in my mind. The Lord spoke to me in a way that was for a project that I'm working on. I've had that happen so many times, and I'm able to grab my phone quickly and type it in so I don't forget. So we talked about that in session 1. Why write? That's a form of me writing. That's a form of writing, me taking notes in church about my book, or taking notes about what the preacher is saying so I do not forget. Remember, we write to retain, we write to recall, we write to reflect, and I can't think of the other one right now, but we write for all these things. So we want to make sure that we are carrying something with us, because one thing we want to make sure that we is expectant. Okay, let me slow down because I get very passionate, very excited. We want to make sure that we are expectant. Ooh, I'm going to tear up. No, I'm not. Because when you are asking God for something, when you are aligning yourself with the Lord to write a book and He's given it to you to write, then you can rest assured that He's going to equip you. He's going to equip you, right? So he's called you for that thing. He's going to give you everything you need. So when you say, Lord, speak to me for the people, maybe you're writing a sermon, maybe you have to preach or teach God's people. When you ask the Lord to speak to you, carry paper, carry your phone, be ready to hear from him. Don't just say, Lord, speak to me. Ask him to speak to you. And then you're not prepared to receive the downloads that he's trying to give you. Okay. So same thing with a book, journal entries, all of that. If you want the Lord to speak to you, you want to write what he's saying and you want to journal it, be prepared. Have it with you at all times. When you are writing, you need to trust the Lord. At all times, you need to trust the Lord. But because we're specifically talking about writing, let's let's bring the scripture. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. So this includes the path of your pen. He will direct it. You're not alone when you write. God will meet you on the page, whether you're journaling, reflecting, or writing your story. You have to remember that. So, as we usually do, you have a challenge. I'm going to challenge you to answer these two questions. Why should I write? Not people in general. This is personal for you. Why should you write? And number two, what is keeping you from writing? What is keeping you from writing? Ask yourself that. What is keeping me from writing? Because whatever it is, we need to write it down and we need to throw it away and let it be no more because you need to move forward. Now is the time to write. Now is the time to birth that thing that God's given you. You don't need a perfect start. I can't reiterate that enough. You just need to start. Next week, I am very, very happy and very excited to bring our very first author to come and speak with us. They're going to drop some nuggets. They're going to talk about their writing process. There's so much in store when it comes to that interview. So this will be our first author interview on Writing Wednesday. So I'm hoping that you will join us. Bring a friend, share it. There is much to glean from this author. So make sure you join us next time for our very first author interview. All right, until next time, take care.